The first time we have had a global sort of a situation of lockdown, which never happened before. And that's why it's the greatest crisis, because the rate of growth of the economy dropped so sharply, which it had never done like this. Unemployment in India rose, as far as I can say, by about 200 million people lost work, And in the US, within 12 weeks, 44 million people had lost work. Now, even in the financial crisis of 2007, 8, 9, it didn't happen like that in the US. It didn't happen in India like that. So that's why it's the greatest crisis. But wherever this contact tracing and testing was not done properly, wherever the dispersal was not done properly, there you had problems. So in India, therefore I say it was half-hearted, because you announced a lockdown without putting into place what was necessary to make the lockdown successful. The problem of the micro sector is entirely different from that of the small and medium. And when you merge them together, then the small and medium will take advantage, the micro will get into a problem because they won't be catered to. So the package as it came reflected the incorrect understanding of the government. It is the greatest crisis in the sense we've never faced this kind of situation ever before. This is worse than, as I've said in the book, a war, in economic sense, not in terms of people dying and so on. It's also worse than the global financial crisis, So that's why it's the greatest crisis. And the reason is that, during a war, you don't have a demand problem. Everybody is busy fighting the war, producing for the war. So production gets reoriented, but it's not that production stops. In this situation, we voluntarily decided to do a lockdown because it's a very contagious disease. So therefore, we had to have a lockdown so that people don't meet each other. When people don't go to work, to office, to factory, to the shop, then obviously production stops. So here what happened was demand fell and supply also froze. Now that doesn't happen during a war. In a global financial crisis also, demand was short, but it's not that supply was not there. It wasn't that, people couldn't go to work if they wanted to go to work. So therefore, the rate of growth of the economy has dropped very sharply all over the world, because of the lockdown. So first time we have had a global sort of a situation of lockdown, which never happened before. It's not like the normal kind of a situation. So therefore, what happens is that you have people unemployed, factories are closed, the shops, people are not visiting. So it's not as if you can have an immediate rebound, because the V shape implies that as fast as the economy dropped, it would rise. Now it dropped very fast, but it's rising very gradually, because still, even though now 10 months have gone by, still large components of the economy are not able to function the way they should function. So whether it be, in the case of services, for instance, your hotels, your restaurants, your tourism, your travel, railways used to run 14,000 passenger trains and they are running about 1,000 passenger trains even now, so it's not revived in that sense, So major components of the economy have not revived, In education also, the revival is proving to be very difficult. Admissions are proving to be difficult. Holding classes is proving to be difficult. So that's why I'm saying that the recovery will be there, because as the unlock takes place, more and more activity can take place. But still, because of the lack of demand and the problems of people being close to each other, therefore the economy is not going to recover immediately. In a depression, what happens is that, the rate of growth falls quite considerably and people's expectations change. In a short recession, 1 or 2 quarters, the expectations have not changed. But here, as the RBI data shows, business confidence is down, consumer confidence is down, and it's not recovering because there's a lot of uncertainty. So given the uncertainty, the consumer demand has not risen back to where it was, and the investment is not risen back to where it was. So the pipe-like investment will go on, but because of the decline in the capacity utilization, the new investment is not taking place at the same level. What does lockdown do? It prevents people from meeting each other. So it's not a solution to the disease, but it only slows it down so that your health system can cope with it. So in India also, given our very weak health system, we needed to slow down the spread, and that's why the lockdown was very essential. Without that, here also the cases would have blown up out of proportion, and therefore our health system, which was already facing problem in big city like Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore, people are dying outside the hospital or people are dying in the ambulance because beds were not available. So lockdown was, if lockdown had not been done, I think there could have been a total collapse by the time we were into May, June. So lockdown was necessary. But as I said in March itself, the imperative of lockdown is that India is a different country. Unorganized sector is very large. These are people who are very poor. They cannot isolate themselves. Lockdown means isolation. But when in Dharavi, if there are 10 people to a room, or in Delhi slums and backward, poorer areas, there are 5 people to a room, how can they be locked 24/7 in a room, 5 people, 10 people in a room? So therefore, we needed to disperse people. We need to allow them to go back after testing. So testing and allowing them to go back to the villages, that was one thing. Second is those who remained behind, they needed to have food, they needed to have water. These poor people, they cannot even buy 1 week's supply because they earn every day and spend every day. Now, if you don't provide them with the essentials of life, they'll go out. And when they go out, then the lockdown becomes unsuccessful. If you don't provide them with water, they'll go to the tanker in the morning to get water, and they have common toilets. So you needed to disperse them. My idea is that a stimulus means that I will give concessions, to the businesses. Now, when businesses are closed, at that time the stimulus will not work, because that will not revive demand. And then second is, you see, because the economy is down, and in the immediate, lockdown period, the economy is down by 75%. The reason is that only essentials were being produced. And because very little production was taking place, so the economy came down. Now others are saying different figures. My figure is that it came down by 75%. Now when you want to revive from that, then what do you need to do? Okay, what you need to do is prevent the people from facing a crisis in their lives. So that's why I'm calling it a survival package, because these people needed extra supplies, they needed water, they needed to be dispersed. Then the 6 crore micro units which were collapsing because they have very little capital, they need to be provided support, And as far as I am concerned, my estimate is that 200 million people lost work. So I distinguish between work and employment. So my factory, I was working in a factory, the factory closed down, so I was not working, but I was in the employ. I was a school teacher, I was in the employ of the school, but I was not going to teach, right? So therefore work stopped much more than the employment dropped. So these people who lost employment, who lost incomes, or many people in the organized sector also whose salaries were cut, So a lot of people had much less income. So we needed to support them. So my estimate is that about 80 crore people fell below the poverty line. So they needed to be provided support. Government always, tries to present a glorious picture that, things are all right, things will be all right. So whether it be the central government or the other agencies of the government, they were all saying, no, things are not bad. We'll have a sharp V-shaped recovery. They'll be immediate. So as I said, V-shaped recovery is not possible given the unemployment, given the decline in investment, etc. So that was only trying to see that there was optimism in the economy. But even then, what did the government say? That green shoots have come. So what does green shoots mean? It doesn't mean that we have recovered to 2019. It means we are slowly growing. Otherwise it would have said we have recovered back to 2019. So therefore my argument is that, yes, when you do unlock, there will be green shoots. But that doesn't mean we are gone back to where we were in 2019 December, or January 2020. So that's my argument, that government was giving undue emphasis on green shoots and revival, and therefore not giving the correct figures. And if you don't give the correct figures, then your budgetary figures go wrong, your deficit goes wrong, your capacity to give a survival package, the essential necessity of giving a survival package, that doesn't come through. So that's why my argument is that government should have come out with the correct figures and then planned on that basis. Otherwise, things will go wrong. The figures that the government has come out with, you can see, the quarterly data is based largely on the organized sector data. Only from agriculture some data comes which is from the unorganized sector. Other than that, it's all organized sector. In fact, it's the Bombay Stock Exchange and the National Stock Exchange. That data for 300-400 companies comes. That is used, some transportation from railways and so on. These are all organized sector. And this time they didn't even have that data, so they've used alternate figures. So if you look at the quarterly data, the government publication which gave the quarterly data, that says that we didn't have the data, so we've used alternate data and we'll revise the data. Same thing was said in Q2, and same thing is being said now, that a lot of data was not available. So they used alternate data like GST collections and so on and so forth. Now GST collection is from the organized sector, is not from the unorganized sector. So it doesn't represent the unorganized sector. So the unorganized sector is not there at all. And my argument is the unorganized sector that got hurt the most, and that is where the revival has been very difficult. So it is no doubt an unprecedented situation. But the role of government is to anticipate. The role of government is to do a full analysis of what it is. Now, if in March I could write, what kind of imperative is there of the lockdown and what needs to be done and how, the survival package is needed, So I was writing it in March, April, etc. Now that input was there for the government didn't consider it. The reason is that the government did not want to show that there was a crisis in the economy. The government always wanted to project that it's in control, that things are all going to be okay, etc. So that I think was a big problem, because therefore when you don't admit the extent of the crisis, then you don't do what is imperative, what is necessary. We are headed towards a new normal because of the way automation is taking place, the way computerization is taking place, and the way unemployment is going to get created, and the way education, is taking place, with the divide between the well-off sections and the poorer sections, So there are going to be a lot of disparities and a lot of new ways of doing things. So we are not headed back to 2019. So we need to rethink many of the development paradigm under which environment got destroyed, under which disparities got created, the kind of trade that we had, whereas globally now everybody is wanting to shorten the supply chain. So American capital is being told to return to America, European capital is being told to return to Europe, so supply chains get shortened. So the nature of trade would also change. So employment, trade, education, so big changes are on the anvil, and we need to think about it right from now so that we can tackle these problems as they emerge. The political leadership, came right from the top. I think that's the nature of this government. That everything comes from the top, whether it be vis-a-vis demonetization or other policies. So this is not the correct model for the diverse economy like India. Where every state is very diverse. Every state has its own different problems. And the coordination between the center and the states had to be very good. Otherwise we saw like Delhi government, doing something different from what the UP government is doing, and therefore massive number of people gathered at the Delhi-UP border, wanting to go back to their villages, and there's no lack of coordination. So lack of coordination among states, lack of coordination between the center and the states, so that created a lot of confusion. So I think, politically what was required was to give leadership to the entire nation and not to do politics. Also, this idea that we can force policy changes, because now there's no opposition, So like the labor code changes, like the agriculture, on which now we're having agitation. So if you do that, then people, instead of dealing with the pandemic and the crisis due to the pandemic, will be doing what is happening, demonstrations in the public sector units, demonstrations by the farmers and so on. So there's a problem politically also that has come, So I think, the political leadership, pretends to be very strong and very focused, but I think it has created more problem than really solve the problem.
To receive instant updates on all videos from The Wire, click the subscribe button and hit the bell icon. Pay to support independent journalism. Click the link in the description and choose the amount you want to pay.